Thousands of protesters of Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan have broken through barricades around the capital and marched into Islamabad, clashing with security forces and demanding Imran Khan's release. Authorities have enforced a security lockdown in the nation, imposed an internet blackout and barricaded major roads leading into the capital to prevent protesters from entering. This is after Imran Khan called for his protesters to march to the parliament. Supporters of the jailed former Pakistani Prime Minister have marched towards the capital, where they were stopped by tear gas canisters fired by cops, prompting the country's army to later issue shoot at sight orders. All of this, of course, happening at a time when Pakistan continues with its economic and financial problems as well. It seems as though Imran Khan suddenly does want to shake up once again the political landscape of Pakistan. What does this really mean? What do these latest developments in Pakistan mean? I take this conversation forward. I have with me Ambassador Suresh Goyal. We have with us Mr. Surinder Singh Lali, international affairs expert, and Brigadier Rajan Jambal, defense expert, with us as well. Let me begin with Ambassador Suresh Goyal. Ambassador Goyal, what do you make of these latest protests that have broken out in Pakistan, wherein thousands of people, the visuals are really dramatic. They are now clashing with the security forces. Shoot at sight orders have also been given, but it seems as though Imran Khan's wife is now behind what is happening in Pakistan. Why is it that he was mum? He was quite silent for quite some time, and now they've decided to really come back out on the streets.
Devika, the situation as it developed, I must say, is quite surprising because, as you rightly said, that Imran Khan and his people have been quite quiet, absolutely not taking any positions on, not really leading to any kind of demonstrations or anything at all. And therefore, when the protest began, it has taken practically everyone by surprise here, whether it is doing a Bushra Bibi or it is Imran Khan himself acting through Bushra Bibi. It's very, very difficult to say. They are the kind of things only time will say and tell us actually what was behind it. But the fact, I think that what is more important is that the kind of force which these protests have generated and the way they are actually going to Islamabad. So clearly, despite the defeat in the elections last year, Imran Khan is still a very, very important and major force to be reckoned with, to the extent that the civilian administration or the current government, they have to use tremendous force to disperse the protests and basically to keep Imran Khan in place. Now, what that really means is that they may actually, like we had thought earlier, that they could keep the space between the army and the civil government, at least for the sake of pretenses or whatever, in place. It is clear that army then may have to intervene sometime to ensure that Imran Khan does not become a problem again as far as they are concerned. That is what my first thought is in this case. Number two, it is also very clear that when these things happen, if you remember that the Chinese, who have a great interest in the security, particularly because of the CPEC passing through the Balochistan area, etc. Chinese have a great interest in making sure that the lack of security or the law and order situation does not disrupt their movement. And in fact, from that point of view, the Chinese and the Pakistani armies are supposed to be conducting a joint exercise in security of the Chinese assets in the country. How will they react to what is now happening in terms of protest march? That will be another interesting factor to watch. So these two things come to mind immediately, and I think we will need to watch further.
Okay, I want to bring in
Devika.
Mr. Surinder Singh Lali into the conversation as well. Mr. Lali, do you feel that these latest protests could cause further political instability in Pakistan, and who really then becomes the ultimate sufferer? Because like I said, everything that's happening in Pakistan on the grounds also needs to be looked at within the context of the financial turmoil that the country is currently in. So when the government of Pakistan is then forced to bring in the army and divert some sort of resources to keep Imran Khan supporters at bay, that's once again not just trouble for the Pakistani government, but also it seems it could possibly lead to further trouble for the common man that continues to suffer in Pakistan. And could that really be the reason why Imran Khan has mobilized his people again?
Thank you, Devika. And part of your question was who is the sufferer? The 24 crore people of Pakistan who were fooled under this bogey of two-nation theory. I'm going to, Devika, personalize a little bit now. My grandmother died way before she should have, only because, because of this two-nation theory, we were thrown across the border and thinking that one day she would go back. And she died in early out of depression and heart failure because she couldn't deal with the circumstances, contrarian circumstances that existed before the partition and after the partition. And look what all of this has resulted into. Devika, I wonder sometimes that is Pakistan in just a political or a financial crisis? I mean, Pakistan should have failed long ago. It's only the West that is keeping it alive purely for their vested interest and geopolitical reasons. But to me, Pakistan, more than that, is in an identity crisis. I mean, they've been trying to behave as if Islam was only invented in 1947 and they seem to be the custodians of it. And there are times even they, sort of look down upon Saudi Arabia and the UAE. So for me, it's extremely sad that a country which was purely made without any thought process and ideology, and of course it has gotten to what it has gotten to. I mean, there are Shia Sunni fasads happening right now, and there are over 300 people that are killed. And the chief minister of the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, who happens to be from Imran Khan's party, I mean, twice on his way to get to Islamabad, he disappears. Can you imagine? He disappears on the way, and this is the third time he's surfaced. A country in the last 77 years has only for 7 years their expenses, their income has been more than the expenses. A country where at the recent Lahore Book Festival, there were 1,200 shawarmas being sold, 800 biryanis, and any guesses to how many books? 35. So you can imagine, I mean, more than, my sympathy and heart goes out to the 24 crore people who've been fooled under this, as they say, the churun of Islam that has been sold to them, and especially with their pathological hatred for the youth and the Hanud, they've taken themselves to a point where the whole capital is surrounded by containers. And not to mention, I mean, the generals who probably paid for the containers also got their kickback somewhere in Dubai or in Canada. So the whole country's become one big mockery of the world. And my personal problem is that we have a nuclear empowered neighbor right next door to us. I mean, sometimes I feel that maybe Pakistan ought to be the way it is, because if they get successful, then they're cross-trading nuisance for us. And if they go down anymore, then it'll be the biggest humanitarian crisis that we could have to, we might have to deal with, not to mention, I didn't say Bangladesh yet, but the kind of open border we have, but the kind of borders we have with Pakistan. So this country has become a mockery, and my concern more than the people of Pakistan is also for us, because they're right next door to us. And, it's an extremely vulnerable border that we have. Thank you, Devika.
Okay, Brigadier Jambal, bring you to the conversation as well. Do you think that somewhere perhaps the Shehbaz Sharif government in a way started underestimating the force that is Imran Khan, or started underestimating the fact that now, because he's behind bars, he probably will not be able to mobilize his protesters the way he could 2 years back? And will they now pay a price for this underestimation?
Yeah, they already, in fact, they are paying a price. I mean, the way things are, this is a nation in chaos, a nation in turmoil, and across spectrums. The economy is in a chaos, their political leadership is in a chaos, social leadership is in a chaos, and even the military leadership. So the price has started getting paid. I mean, I think there were some four of these servicemen were run over by the protesters, and there's some 119 injured. So the price has started already getting paid. This thing, how much more price on both sides, that leaves to be decided. Now that apart, they have already invoked their Article 245, which empowers the army to come in, in aid of civil authorities, and army has already been given the powers to shoot at sight. So things have escalated to a point. I mean, they wanted Bishra Bibi to stop short of Rawalpindi, I mean, giving some foreign state visit as a reason, but they are insisting that they will go to that D Chowk, which I believe is the hub of Islamabad, and hold their protest there. I mean, they have removed the containers, they have removed the barricades, they have moved everything. But end of the day, someday the saner voices will dawn on them. Here it's a political issue. They will have to deal it politically. I mean, the casualties will keep rising. They may be able to disperse the crowd. It will be counterproductive. It will raise more this thing. I mean, already Imran Khan, because of the way the new government has conducted itself. In fact, the very fact that the way it came into power, I mean, the whole world believes, the whole Pakistan believes that they were not the ones who got elected. I mean, Imran Khan's government people, even though they had to fight as independents, I mean, they won the majority of the seat. So it was obviously complete electoral process was hijacked, and the whole nation, the whole world, everybody knows it. 24 crore Pakistanis know it. I mean, there is a limit to what they will tolerate, and after that, I mean, the chaos is happening. It will only get worse. This will also impact their current financial and even the military situations, because the military, if you take, I mean, they're already getting a beating from TTP, they're getting a beating from Balochistan. Now they lose few people in their own internal protests. I mean, whatever little bit of, what you call, is left with them, even that will go. I mean, the people will stop trusting even the military, which is on the way out because of the corruption and whole lot of things which have now started coming out. So people do not respect their own military. And the military, as we say, it is not the Pakistan military. It is the Pakistan that belongs to the military. So these things will change time, and how bad for Pakistan, I mean, time will tell. There are protests everywhere. This is just one of the protests. You had that Shia Sunni, I mean, massacre other day, just few days back. I mean, more than 100 odd killed. In Balochistan, every day, dozens are getting killed. Unrest in POK, Gilgit, you name a place. Sindh, I mean, hardly any place left where there is no chaos. So it's a country in chaos, and I personally feel actually a chaotic Pakistan suits us. I mean, I'll be honest about it. A chaotic Pakistan, well, long the times are gone when the people used to argue, a stable
Yes.
Pakistan is India's national interest. No, it is not. A chaotic Pakistan is in our interest. A broken Pakistan is in our interest. A Pakistan in small parts is in our interest. I'm very clear of that. And I'm sure the things are moving that way. Things are moving that way. And I think you'll see the curtains rising, I mean, maybe in a few months' time.
Okay, Ambassador Goel, is this Imran Khan perhaps announcing his comeback then, in a way? What is the message that he's trying to send to Shehbaz Sharif?
No, I think Imran Khan will continue to try and come back, and he will make all possible efforts. And obviously, the protests those which are being led into Islamabad are a part of that kind of an effort by Imran Khan and the people from his party in the direction. But the point, Devika, is not that he will not try. He will continue to try. There is no doubt about it. But will he succeed? The fact is that even in terms of the elections, he succeeded in the elections. But then the way it happened, the whole thing turned topsy-turvy after winning the elections. So my point really is that Imran Khan, he may try, but the army doesn't like him anymore. And the party in power doesn't like him at all, really. So with that collusion between the government and the army who want to keep Imran Khan at bay, will he succeed? I have my doubts. I have my doubts that at the moment, Imran Khan would be able to make a comeback despite all the efforts. So we will see for the next at least 4 years the same kind of chaos, the same kind of pushes and pulls between the two, but without any further change because simply neither army nor China, nor, sorry, USA, I can't say. Biden wouldn't want to have a change in Pakistan, but Trump may have a different take. But neither China nor the army, they want a change in Pakistan. So let us see how it goes.
Okay, Mr. Lali, interesting point raised there about America. I mean, America will also be witnessing a change of, party leadership shortly from now. Could this then also be a signal somewhere? Because if you remember, Imran Khan, when he was ousted and when he was arrested, he in fact created this entire narrative that it was the American deep state that was behind his ouster. But now we're just a few months down from a change of guard in America as well. So what do you make of the timing, really, essentially, of these protests taking place right now?
Devak, I don't know about what timing, because ever since 1947, Pakistan has been between one debacle and one messy situation to another. I mean, while the rest of the world is debating how to deal with Donald Trump, I mean, Pakistan is an internal crisis of its own, and I don't think it matters if he's inside jail or outside, because end of the day, I mean, which prime minister in Pakistan has ever completed their term, or how much of meaning or consequence is he, even if he was to come outside? I mean, end of the day, it's the entire world knows that it's the army that controls. I mean, as General Saab said before me, that it's not the country that has an army, it's the army that has a country. So I don't think he inside or outside matters more. It's only when the army will when they will get sick of Shahbaz Sharif, then they might want to go back into the storeroom and pull some other sort of a symbolic, prime ministerial candidate out, because he had the mandate, he got the votes, but, the generals are on record also saying that it was all a hogwash. So to me, I don't think it matters if he's inside jail or outside jail. End of the day, the ISI and the army and the corps commanders, they're running the show. So for me, it's going to be one, debacle to another, and one massacre to another, one riot to another, and one more trip to the World Bank with their Kashkol Katora for looking for money to the other. I mean, that's why Pakistan has survived, as the risk of repeating. 77 years, only 7 years their income has been more than their expenses. So I don't think they're going anywhere, and as I fully agree with the General Saab, and I also said that for us it's much better Pakistan being on a battlefield, because otherwise they start creating nuisance and they start creating mess for us. So I think it's going to be the same, and we'll again come back the next year debating how miserable Pakistan is and how it's going to fall apart in some time. But I don't think that's going to happen either, because the West is keeping it alive. And now that, in the Indo-Pacific is getting more important, China, Iran. So I think the Donald Trump is going to keep him alive to the point where, he'll give enough oxygen so that it doesn't die, but nothing beyond it. Unless, they need their boots, their army needs boots on the ground in Pakistan. That's the only rent an army country that I see Pakistan as.
Okay, Ambassador Goel, does this somewhere also create an impediment in terms of all the financial bailouts that are ongoing and continue to also be pending for Pakistan?
Those are two different things. Financial bailouts for Pakistan, unless they are basically from international financial institutions like IMF and World Bank, where there is a very strict and rigorous checks on the use of the previous bailout, and where there are certain conditionalities attached to those bailouts, those are difficult. But there are friendly countries to Pakistan who would not like to see Pakistan go down. And we know which those countries are. Saudi Arabia will continue to financially support Pakistan, if not as much as they were doing earlier. But they would like to see Pakistan go down economically or go down politically because of economic grounds. The US, again, sorry, is the different case. Trump may have a different take. China will bail Pakistan out if there is a need. Therefore, the bailout will come to Pakistan. And Pakistan is there for reality. It's going to remain on our side as a thorn, whichever way it is. We will have to live with the reality. And I think we need to really work on the basis that it is there. Devika.
Okay, Brigadier Jamal, just want to understand from your perspective, sir, as far as the Saudi Arabia is concerned, why does Saudi Arabia continue to want to back a failed state like Pakistan, given that the Middle East is currently undergoing some major geopolitical changes, given the war between Israel, Hamas and Hezbollah, which is expected to reshape really the landscape of the Middle East? Shouldn't Saudi Arabia be focusing on what's happening there rather than keeping a finger in the pie as far as Pakistan is concerned? How does it really benefit Saudi Arabia?
You see, Saudi Arabia traditionally has been supporting Pakistan, but the tradition is changing already. If you see in the last year or so, how much bailout package they have given, what they wanted, what they asked for, and how much they are getting. It is like crumbs now. They're just throwing them to survive a day, survive second day, survive the other thing. It's like somebody giving somebody food for today. He says, for tomorrow, we'll think tomorrow. They are not giving him the kind of bailout package which the Pakistani army, economy requires right now, nor are the Chinese. So Chinese, basically, end of the day, they are businessmen. This thing like we call, they are the world's banias. They would even go to war, they will initiate military action only if there is an economic activity involved or there is a profit coming to them. Trust me, I have dealt with the Chinese. I've been interacted with them on a monthly basis for a couple of years. So I know a bit about their psyche. They will not even fight unless there is a profit in it. They have already lost close to 70 billions. Now their prime requirement is how to get that out or how much of that they should get it back. Trust me, the day somebody offers them a better deal, okay, we'll give you this much billions back out of it, you get out of Pakistan, you forget CPC. They will not even think twice before forgetting CPC. Moment they can get their money's worth, this thing,
Yes.
They won't like to spend more bad money after bad money. Saudi Arabia is already changing. Now, I would like to bring this thing. Ambassador Goel mentioned what Trump, in the passing. You see, Trump, before he went out in 2020, if you remember, there were news reports there. He desperately wanted, he wanted to pull out of Afghanistan. He's certainly not happy the way finally the pullout happened, and he has already said he is going to sack everybody involved on the day he takes over. Because the way the pullout happened, this thing post is, moving out of presidency. But the important thing is he that time had asked for help of the Indian Army. He wanted a couple of divisions to be deployed in Afghanistan to relieve US Army. And we had rightly refused. We do not want to be airily refused with you. We will go in. We don't mind sending troops here, but it has to be through a land corridor. That land corridor. Now, unfortunately, that land corridor can only be created through Pakistan. So, I have this thing. We may someday, maybe in very near future, we may go in for, with the thing, some kind of a corridor to Afghanistan, maybe not through the POK as we know it, through some other area, maybe the Dras area, that Gilgit, this thing, where we can directly go in, and it will be in everybody's interest. It will be in everybody's interest. It will be in the world interest. So I am looking at that possibility.
Okay, all right. On that note, I thank all of our guests for joining us on the broadcast. That's all the time that we have. With that, viewers, we slip into a very short break.